Hello, folks. I am live in or around Melbourne, Florida, in a hotel room. Thank you all for joining us, and I appreciate you being here. It's going to be a little bit different, obviously. Obviously, the set is different, and the setting. I hope you guys are hearing me okay. It's a different microphone. I don't have the usual earpiece monitoring going on. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. And remember, thumbs up, folks. So that was episode 278. It's one of the longest ones we've done. She really had a lot to say. There was a lot to the story, and just powerful. I thought. So, what did you guys think? Tell me a little bit about how it impacted you. Uh, Sorry if I'm looking around a lot. I'm not able to see what I would normally see when I do these because I don't have all the screens but here we are. So yeah, the pain in her voice really stood out to me just when we recorded the interview and in the story. uh you just you hear it, or I've felt like I heard it. It was uh, painful. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. The law enforcement deals with these families is disheartening. Yeah, it is. And not all law enforcement deal with it that way. The law enforcement, I know law enforcement, and and that's not how they tend to handle it. From what they tell me, I've done a whole bunch of ride-alongs with the Houston Police Department and other law enforcement agencies. Really, not really all over the country, but I've done it in at Maryland and Kansas and New Mexico and a couple other places. But the, the, the officers that the officers that I know tend to treat people differently. Now, some of that could be because they've got a guy with a camera riding with them, or it could be that because I'm a guy with the camera, that the law enforcement agencies pick the officer I get assigned to based on the right stuff. So where are we at here? Karma says in my own dealings uh, with my own dealings with the police, and when my addiction was full blown, it was always cold and judgmental. Yeah, I do see some of that too. I see a lot of the work that I've done with law enforcement has been with DWI enforcement, impaired driving enforcement. And sometimes there is a bit of an attitude toward the drunk driver, but there's the using decision and then the driving decision. And regardless of an addiction being present or not, the driving decision is a grossly irresponsible choice. It's possibly because they deal with so much areas that they turn to apathy and their own biases when it comes to homeless and addiction. Yeah, I think that's possible. I certainly think that's possible. That there is they're human, just like the rest of us, and to see that every day might wear on. Hello from Choctaw, Annie Peterson. Thank you for being here. Pat says I've been on both sides of the law, and unfortunately, just like with a lot of other people, what you are told is not exactly what is happening. I can certainly I can certainly see that. I'm figuring this out as I go. That it's a totally different arrangement here doing this. I hope you guys are hearing me okay. Glenn, was the difference from any dangerous addictions? I'm not sure what you mean by that. What's the difference? Is that what you're asking, Kimberly? There is no difference between different dangerous addictions. I don't think the difference with DWI stuff is that decision to drive. Throw the first stone. Yeah, Kimberly, the fentanyl drip IV struck me as very peculiar. It's for pain management, but that seemed weird. Nothing. Kimberly, there's nothing different between drinking alcohol and using any other substance. The risks are consistently the same, and the the possible outcomes are the same. And the only real difference has to do with choosing to drive. With the stuff I was talking about, I don't think that an alcohol addiction is it works exactly the same. It is more socially acceptable. Alcohol use is more socially acceptable. Oh, you guys are just coming up with such tough questions right now. Has Congress tackled this fentanyl crisis? If so, how? A little bit. A little bit. The Fentanyl Act has the Halt Fentanyl Act has passed. Congress is slow to move, and so they haven't done a lot. And this has been going on for 13 years. Blue Kachina, you have no authority. I don't know what you mean by that. Kimberly says I had a cuz that would drive high on pot a long time ago. I was in the car with her. Yeah, that's a thing too. I've seen people smoking weed while they're driving. You were paid to federalize law enforcement. Blue, I don't understand that. Who is paid to federalize law enforcement? Law enforcement isn't federalized. Shaggy Beans, they knew more once their loved ones get affected. Yeah, yeah, they do. That is certainly how it works. But they'll also react to enough input from constituents. That's a thing that people don't really acknowledge as being a functional part of how the government works is elected officials listen to the people who vote for them. Letters work. It may take quite a few from quite a few people, but they will work. They listen. Karma says the sad truth is that there is more profit in punishment versus investing in resources for mental health and substance abuse. I don't know about there's a lot of potential for profit in substance abuse treatment and all of that. It's profit for a different group. Holy cow, Brad. Gosh. Am I a Democrat or Republican? How I missed the how do you stay looking so young question. Gee, am I a Democrat or a Republican? Not I'm not. I tend to lean a little bit conservative, but I have substantial complaints and criticisms and disdain for both parties. Now, this crisis, the fentanyl crisis, has been going on for over 13 years. Both parties have had a bite at this apple, and they didn't do anything. I think there would be, like Karma says, I think there would be less road rage incidents if people drove a little stoned. I never gotten any accidents from driving stoned. Well, there's a statistic in the DWI world that says the average drunk driver gets away with it 80 times before they're caught. So just because it works doesn't mean that's the way to go. There would be less road rage if everybody obeyed traffic laws too. They're laws. When you break a traffic law, you're committing a crime. You're engaging in a criminal act. So there's also that. There's a great documentary about how much money prisons make from prisoners who do work for pennies. Shaky Beans says both sides are bad. Blue Kachina still, I'm not understanding. Okay, here we are. The federal government paid for such things as seatbelt enforcement, which influenced local law enforcement. DUI ramped that up 10,000%. paid for seatbelt enforcement. Uh, that just sounds peculiar. Impaired driving kills over 10,000 people a year. It's gone down some and then climbed some, but uh, law enforcement is law enforcement. Local police enforce federal laws and local laws, state laws. Focus on the things that mean nothing. Forget the crack dealers and arrest the average dude. Are you saying that's what should happen? The average dude meaning the average customer of crack dealers, or I don't understand what that means. Blue, it seems like you're maybe you're feeling kind of frustrated. Are you denying the DUI federal payment? Federal agencies provide funding for all kinds of programs for law enforcement. So do state agencies. Karma, I think it's ridiculous when people use identity politics. The fact is, many social issues overlap. Ultimately, we are all individuals, and when someone is not sure of who they are, they identify as left or right. Blue says, we know y'all wouldn't have the balls to go after the real crime. You focused on the low hanging fruit. Who is y'all? Who are you referring to as you? Me? Brenda says, Brad, I'm listening while working on an outside project. Can you believe I am on day 356 clean of illicit fentanyl? Almost a year. Whoop, whoop. You got this, Brenda. You are on it like Biden on a flight of stairs. Glenn, me and my son have smelled two dead skunks, which is the two dead skunk thing, yes, I remember. You know not to drink and drive. And it's not just drinking and driving. It's driving while impaired in any way. It could be alcohol or weed or illicit drugs or prescription drugs. I know I can drink and drive and not be a nuisance. Drinking and driving is an added risk. For most of us, driving is the most dangerous thing we will ever do. And we do it all the time and never give a thought to just how dangerous it is. It's important to us to pick up our kids from from school, from middle school or elementary school, instead of having them walk home because it's so scary, dangerous out there. But it's much more dangerous for them to get in the car than to walk home. Phones, distracted driving. Yeah, that's another one. We have a documentary on our channel that's about distracted driving that we created for AAA. Blue says you're taught I'm the enemy. I've been to a lot of impaired driving crashes. A lot. Seen a lot of impaired driving victims being put into body bags. Seen a lot of drunk driving offenders put in body bags as well. It is a scary thing. And you said you're taught. That would be your with an apostrophe RE, as in saying you are taught. I just had to throw that out. Brad, how about a phone? What are we talking about, guys? How do I have any? Do you have any tumblers or coffee mugs? We do. We do. We have a link to our store that's on the home page of our website, and you can find coffee mugs, and there's no tumblers on there. The tumblers are just a special once in a while thing. There's only about 20 that exist. Distract on a bicycle from drinking. Yeah, being moving around in public in general, I think it can be a dangerous thing if you're impaired on anything. Karma says drinking and driving is a death sentence and very selfish when putting others at risk. That's the thing. It's the decision to drink is a separate animal, but the decision to drive when you're impaired, that's something else. That is making a decision that the people around you while you're on the road for some reason don't count. Can we get discounts? Yeah. Okay, maybe I can find there is a discount code. Ah, Brad's in year 3. Bree, I have such that I've never used when I was in my teens and 20s. Well, I remember. Okay, I don't know how to. Does anyone out there who's maybe a channel? Does anyone out there who's a channel member remember the discount code? Uh, uh, Hello, Allie. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. We are going to wrap it up pretty soon, though, because uh, I'm in a hotel and I got stuff to do, and we're going to be shooting stories all day tomorrow and the next day. So anyway, Blue says I'm perfectly okay, but I also realize the manifest of idealism on wholesale levels. The manifest of idealism. I don't really understand what that means. A lot of people work toward the ideal whatever as just a way of moving through life, finding the ideal partner, finding the ideal job, the ideal home, the ideal living condition. So I don't understand that. Shaky beans, what do you mean buffering? Is there some problem with the connection? Uh, I guess you guys are hearing me okay. Nobody's giving anything. When you come to Oklahoma City again, I don't know. It seems like there was a reason to maybe it's or to maybe try to have some sort of event. We had talked about it before, somewhere maybe at a casino in Oklahoma or something like that, some place where a lot of people could come together, have fun with whatever, and have some time with sharing with others. Kimberly said, Glenn, when are you going to do a story here in Memphis? Well, we can come to Memphis. We're not going to have any more trips other than the ones that are scheduled. We're going to North Carolina. And I saw Phoenix on the calendar. I don't know. But we're going to be going to North Carolina later in the year. And that's probably going to be it until 2026 because we have so much to catch up on. I don't know where Nux is. Brenda, anybody heard from Nux lately? I do love my righteous dogs. Okay, good for you. Of Greg, Carla, Greg. Am I talking too fast? So so Kimberly, about the storytelling summit events that we do. The event we I'm in Melbourne, Florida now. We have an event here for 2 days, and before that, I was in Pensacola, Florida, another 2 days, and from here I'm going to a town called Wiggins, Mississippi, which is kind of north of in between Gulfport and Biloxi. Greg Brady. Holy cow, Carla. I can't I couldn't talk like Greg if I tried, I don't think. I couldn't do that rapid fire blah, 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 blah. I don't think I could. I couldn't come up with enough to say fast enough to just match that pace, that cadence. Pat said, I'm hearing you, but YouTube has cut in 6 or 8 times with commercials. First time that's happened to me. Is that happening right now during the live? During this? Or was that during the premiere? Kimberly, my mom was from Clarksville. I don't I don't know enough about Mississippi to know where Clarksville is. I had never heard of Wiggins before. A storyteller contacted us wanting us to come there. Huh, is that is that new, folks? I don't I don't see commercials here. None during the premiere, several times during the live. Wow. Okay, well I'll look at those settings for next time, which I don't know when that is. But my point about these summits that are happening on this big road trip we're in Florida now, and then after we're done here, we're going to Mississippi, and these three storytelling summits, planning for them began a couple of months ago, and the plans develop, and people start generating interest. They find a location for us to shoot the interviews, all of that kind of stuff, and so that takes a little time, and so. Smelling two dead skunks. You guys. Kevin says, I watch your videos and show them during my groups and treatment center. They make an impact. The purpose of the live show to discuss them. Yeah, it's a pretty open discussion here. We tend to focus on things involving fentanyl and involving recovery. So, Kevin, if you watch our videos and show them during the live in the treatment center, are they the fentanyl stories or are they the addiction recovery stories? Well, Brenda, uh, I don't, I don't, I don't know. You won't if you are a premium YouTube subscriber. You pay a monthly fee. I think it's like $10. Then you don't get commercials. Yeah, Kimberly, I think I remember you telling me that before. That's awesome. I feel like it would be good for me to take some classes that have something to do with that as a way to be more informed when I interact with people that are in recovery, which I do a lot. I interviewed a person in recovery yesterday. Maybe that's it, Pat. I show both. I show the recovery stories to give hope. I show the fentanyl stories to show how substance use destroys families. And there are quite a few fentanyl stories now that are about a, a victim who was in recovery and had a relapse. So there's great recovery lessons to that as well. Matt, Matt, Matt Price. He is, he's such a kick. He really is. I still talk to him once in a while, and he is. I remember the beginning of his video. In the edited video, it has a kind of a funny moment at the beginning. So, anyway, an addiction counselor, that's awesome, awesome work to be doing. I feel like there's more that we could be doing for the recovery community. The recovery stories, for me, the one of the greatest things about having the series of recovery stories is that when we get comments on the fentanyl stories from someone who says that they are in addiction or they are new to recovery or they just want to be in recovery, we can point them to that series and tell them about the great, powerful, happy ending kind of stories that are in the series. And as far as I know, of the 50 or 51 stories that are in the recovery series, only one of them has relapsed, as far as I know. One of the things about I think I don't have anything to back this up, but I feel like when someone in recovery shares their story with us, they're sort of raising the accountability bar even higher than it already is with their sponsor or whatever kind of support group that they have around them, because now it's a public thing and thousands of people are going to see it. Carla, I saw a comment where you were defending My Beautiful Rain and I on one of the local news media posts. Of course I did. I I, I don't remember it, but well, of course I would. Hello, Brooke. Brooke, you know we're going to be in Wiggins, Mississippi. That's like right next to Alabama, or yeah, right next to Alabama. Yeah, I'm sure that there are videos on YouTube that address alcohol. We're certainly open to creating content like that and We hear that a lot. I the we have another series about cannabis-induced psychosis, and the cannabis-induced psychosis comments oftentimes will come from cannabis users that are defending cannabis, and their big argument is, well, what about alcohol? Yeah, that's a thing, and everybody's pretty well aware of dangers of alcohol, but anyway, Brenda, go on chewing tobacco. Yeah, there's that. Brad, Brenda says Brad went in one hand and poop in the other and see which one gets. One in one hand and poop in the other and see which one gets full first. Wow, Brenda. Uh, Good one. That's not up there with the whole what you take for granted someone else is praying for, but a good one. What am I missing here, Carla? I'm so sorry you had to experience those haters. Please know their hate comes from jealousy because they are trolls sitting in their basements in nothing but boxers. Carla says the person had no profile picture and the words were misspelled, but it still hurt my heart so much. I appreciate you defending the lives of all the people who have lost. Defending our storytellers is a top priority. It is the top priority. That it's no small task going through all the comments that we get. Maybe 1,000 a week, and I'm learning. You know, even the bad comments mean that whoever's making the comment actually watched the story, and they took enough away from it to comment. And if their comment is in one way or if they make a negative comment that is in one way or another stupid, I tend to lean towards leaving it, because that there's a lesson for other readers in a mean comment that's stupid, because the commenter kind of discredits himself or herself or whatever self by making a comment that is ignorant. Brenda, it's a stigma in mental health. Brenda was going toe to toe with them. Wait, okay, Molly cow, what did I miss? Carla. Brad, I'm sure you're a great dad, Brad. Brooke Rabama, I started a new job last week. I'm now working with children with disabilities and special needs children at a middle school. Wow. How cool. There's just so much potential for reward in doing that. That's fantastic. So Carla, it's those same qualities that make you hurt so much that make you a great mom. That's pretty simple and glaringly obvious to anyone on the outside. I'll go to I'll go toe to toe all day with idiots who only want to hurt when you are out there trying to make it so other parents won't have to know your pain. That's fantastic, Brooke. I think that's just too cool. Brenda, I'm looking forward to my Hope Lunch and Learn event. That sounds cool. But it is getting time to wrap it up, folks. Right. We've been here almost an hour, 51 minutes in this awkward arrangement that I've got going on here in this hotel. I'm at I don't know what it is. It's one of those Marriott affiliate hotel, like, uh, oh, wow, I can't think of it at all. I know what I'll do. Like Courtyard by Marriott, but I don't think this is a Courtyard. I think it's another one. It'll tell me here. Come on. Or Town Place Suites or something. I don't know. I don't know. There's some stupid things to the design of this room. It's just me, so it doesn't matter. The door on the bathroom has this frosted glass. So if I was here with someone and one of us had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you can close the door, but when you turn the light on, it's going to light up the whole bedroom. Kind of stupid. And the desk right here. The surface of the desk won't work with a mouse. So I have my mouse on a piece of paper because the desktop is the wrong kind of reflective. I don't know. Anyway, yes, Brad, we already talked about there being hoodie, and there's a discount code. And anyone, if you're gonna order something, there's a discount code that I think will get you like 30% off, something like that. And if you want the discount code, you can email me. So there's that. Now, but we are gonna wrap it up, folks. If I just find my closing credits here and get that all set. Look, there's what is happening over there? I don't know what that was. Oh, I understand. Oh, so we've had over 30 viewers almost the whole time, and and in fact, and there's been over 150 people through the live event. You know, some come in the middle or whatever. Some leave in the middle. So remember the thumbs up thing. You know, it ought to be right down here at the bottom somewhere just outside of the frame. But so it is Trump or Biden? Brad. So Brad, as I think the answer to your question about how I stay looking so young is that as you get older, your vision goes, and so you're not seeing things accurately. So there's my answer to that. I don't. Sorry, just catching up with everything. Does it have a zipper? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't believe there's a hoodie with a zipper, and that irritates me. Just the idea of a pullover anything. Just no, it's not me. Not a jacket. You know, the zipper works like a way to make fine tune adjustment as to how warm you want it to be, and not having a zipper, I think, is stupid. But that's just me. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here. We are going to wrap it up now. We have been here 56 minutes. Yeah, T. Carly, of course you prefer no zipper because you're a chick. It's more of a chick thing, I think. But I could be wrong. It's going to happen one day. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here, and we are going to close it up for now. But uh, I I I can't say enough about how much I appreciate all of you who have been a part of this, and all of you who watch the content on our channel. I'm so grateful to be in a spot like this. So I always like to remind everyone that you're welcome to reach out to us anytime. And so you can reach out by email, info@texas-pictures.com. You can also email if you want a discount code for our merchandise store. You can find us on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse. And you can also, we have a TikTok channel, group, page, whatever it is. And you can learn more about us on our website, texas-pictures.com, where you will find information about how to share a story, how to set up a storytelling summit. There is a link to our merchandise store and a whole bunch of other stuff about Texas Pictures. So thank you all very much for being a part of this, and we will see you next time. So good night for now.